Welcome back to A Game in the Life number 3-ish. I'm Ryan Miller. That was Hades, and I know 2 of these in a row. Again, it's easier to knock these out when they're fresh in the mind, especially since I've been putting this one off, I feel like, for a little bit. I haven't played it in a few weeks, so I'm sure it's going to go great. But by these, I mean these single game episodes where I try and distill my many hours with the game into something resembling not a review, not a guide. If we're lucky, it's more about the conversation I've had with any given game, but I'm sure there's going to be some crossover here and there with those other things. And with Hades, first things first, I want to say, spoiler alert. I know I'm late to the party, as always. This thing came out in 2020 and spent, I believe, years in early access before that, but if you're anything like me, you've got that backlog going on, just heads up. This is all going to be very late game content here you're going to see. I think I've unlocked 199%, somewhere along those lines, so just if you care about that. But I will say, I think one of the things that makes Hades so outstanding is the amount of evolution that goes on over time, which isn't always the case. In fact, might be kind of the white whale with roguelites or roguelikes or run-based games, however you want to put that, is, especially for me, how much progress is actually happening, because there's nothing worse in the world, just about, especially the older you get, than, you know, having a run that lasts 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the game, and feeling like you took nothing away from it, just wasted time. And whether that's actual items that you keep, or, you know, some progress along the difficulty curve, I don't know. But, and grain of salt, because I don't play a lot of games like this, I think Hades is one of the best to have ever done it. So, spoiler alert, but it is largely applicable to the late game anyway, so it's almost a different game early on. There's going to be some stuff, again, that you'll be able to use, but again, I hope to keep it more about the conversation. So, I'm going to talk about some strategies, yes, but for the most part, here are some weird habits that I've developed over the course of my time with Hades. So let's switch and press any button and play. You can see it's only been 305 times that I've tried to escape. For those of you that don't know, that is Hades. You are attempting to escape Hades as the son of Hades here. And I'm going to save you all of the conversations here. Again, I think I've been through all of them. I haven't seen an exclamation point signifying a new conversation for quite some time. First up, though, if you're going to want to know what I did with the Mirror of Night, Shadow Presence is the first. This might be a toss-up between Fiery Presence. I just feel like I get more out of more damage by backstabbing, especially with the weapons I'm going to choose here, you'll see. Dark Regeneration, health is going to be a big thing for this run because, as I have not mentioned yet, this is a 32 Pact of Punishment run that I've done, which is the last thing I think I needed to do to unlock that last statue. So again, if you don't want to see that, you're going to see it coming up here in a second, because I have been able to complete it once with what you're going to see. I don't know how actually impressive that is. Not very would be my guess. In fact, if anything, let's hope we get a repeat of the Marvel Snap episode and it's just loss after loss here. I would love this series to just be about me losing at every game and loving it. So, Dark Regeneration, again, health is going to be huge here with the Pact of Punishment that we're going to choose. Death's Defiance, I don't know why you would choose Stubborn Defiance at all. Somebody somewhere knows, but I need those extra lives, especially when it comes to Elysium, where you might get a refill on those. Ruthless Reflex, gain 50% damage and dodge chance for 2 seconds when you dash just before getting hit. Again, the technique that I'm going to use to play this is going to have a lot of dashing involved, so anything that buffs that is going to be worth it. Boiling Blood, I don't know why you would do Abyssal Blood over that. Again, it seems like I get more out of being able to fill them with my Bloodstones and then get more damage. Although I will say, I don't use my Bloodstones a whole lot. This is going to be very useful to you if you are not into using Bloodstones a whole lot. And I'm sure there is people out there that have the technique down. I do not. We're going to use our attack, our special, Bloodstones on bosses, and our call, but not very well. So if that's your speed, then this will get you to the end. This is another one that I feel like if you're going to use Boiling Blood, you're going to want to pair it with Infernal Soul here. Golden Touch, you could go either way. I did go with Deep Pockets for a bit, but I felt like this will start you off with like 100 coins. I felt like over time, a 15%, because you will save your money up until at least 300 each run, because that will, if you go into a store, let you buy sometimes the, gosh, what are they called? The orbs. Oh my gosh. Boons, thank you very much. Did I mention it's been a couple weeks since I played this? Your boons cost about 150, so you want to save up to 300 at least before you enter a store, so you can afford both boons if they have to. So I figure over time, Golden Touch is going to give you more money than just 100 right off the bat. Thick Skin, again, I feel like health is most important here, so I go with that. Privileged Status, this might also be a toss-up, especially depending on how many boons you get or if you like to go with different boons. This makes it so you kind of need 2 at the most rather than trying to spread it across. And I do like, or have found at least, that getting 1 boon and then building in that direction is a little more beneficial than spreading it across the board. You need at least 2 to start getting some of those duos. So that's what I found anyways. Dark Foresight, I'll stick with this because you want the Daedalus and the money. Palms, not really, and we'll talk about that because you're going to see the buff I used in the next room. But God's Legacy, again, I don't know why you would want a greater chance of epics. I guess there's some idea that you spread them across the board more rather than getting legendary or duos. There is a large amount of chance in this build, so that, again, you're probably going to see me lose. I have lost with this more often than not, but this is the build I used to finally win at 32 Pact of Punishment. So legendary duo boons are kind of what gets you there, what got me there, I feel like anyways. Fated Authority, also, it's going to be very useful to get rid of those palms when you don't need them. So that's why I went with that rather than the other. So that's that. In this room, like I mentioned, palms, not useful past the first or second. So I do actually use this Palm Blossom, which you get from Persephone, because if it spreads it around right, you do get the first 2 levels on each boon. So that does appear to be worth it. It's diminishing returns after that, so I pretty much reject palms when it comes to, you know, room rewards, stuff like that. You'll see me switch, use my trigger to switch. And then the companion I've been using is Antos. You could probably do with either of these. I just basically go for damage, is what I'm looking at there. So that's that. The weapon I use is Malphon, and I use the Aspect of Demeter. It's because of some of the Pact of Punishments we're going to choose. I find being able to get multiple hits on them quickly nullifies some of those effects there, and it is all upgraded fully. Again, I've unlocked every single thing I can here. And the other thing I think this weapon does is force me to use the cutter, use my special, because I find if I use other weapons, I was going with the bow for a long time, which ended up being really strong for me, kind of surprisingly. But I wasn't great at using the special. It wasn't really useful to me. So I was trying to get to the end just by upgrading the attack a whole bunch, and it didn't work out. So this was finally the build that did work because I was able to go back and forth with this. And you're going to see this technique is what I'm going to use the whole time as soon as Skelly comes back here. Is dash, punch, and the reason I think also that the fists are great is because you just have to hold down X and use the other half of your thumb to dash around like this, and that's the technique. And then you obviously use the cutter whenever it charges up. It gives you that warning, so that works really well with that technique. So you can see here, this is the 32-point statue, so I did make it through at least one time. I have tried, I think, 2 more times since and failed. So again, that might be what you see, but I will explain to you how it worked out in the end. So these are the pact of punishments I chose. Jury summons, you have to be careful with this one because I'm also choosing tight deadline. And I tried to do it at 5 minutes and it was too tight. So 7 minutes is pretty darn easy. You'll get some leftover time and be able to make it. It's the time really won't be an issue at 7 minutes. Everything else will. So this is enough of a boost, enough, because if you get too many people, it just takes too long. That's what I'm getting at. Extreme measures, that's +4 if you think you can handle Hades with his buff at the end. I have yet to beat him. Just every single time I got to him, it just didn't work out. So I needed to pull back on that. The calisthenics program, that was another thing that I feel like if you're using the cutter, using this build well, it's going to be fine. Benefits package, this is next to nothing. For me, this was like barely noticeable, so I use that. There are some instances where it's super annoying, but we'll talk about those if they happen. More often than not, it's just fine. Middle management, this is another one that didn't appear to do much. It does change some of the boss encounters also. Mini boss encounters, but again, didn't appear to do much that mattered all that much. So this is one that gets a little dicey, Underworld Customs, but for the most part, there's always one boon I could get rid of. Not a big deal. Forced overtime. This is, again, something you're not going to notice if you're doing that technique, if you're getting to them quickly. But one more tick. Again, pretty much, I've tried everything that I'm showing you one level up, and this is pretty much the balance I could find. It's also the kind of the most I could take. So when it comes to forced overtime, I tried doing the next thing up, going to 40%, and it was just too much. So 20% appeared to be it. Damage control, this is the one that I say is pretty much nullified by using the fists because you're hitting them so quickly. So even though they have 2 free hits, it just goes away super quick, so you don't have to worry about that so much. This is where a lot of the chance is going to come in. It's going to remove 2 of your boon choices. So when this gets really annoying is if you go into chaos, which you need to. I know there's some talk out there about do we use chaos boons or not. I absolutely do because they don't take up space with the other boons, which if you get too many, you start getting ones that just replace others, and that's not what you want. Obviously, you want as many boons as possible, doing as many things as possible. Chaos boons don't take up any of that space, so it's kind of just free. And I already mentioned tight deadline, so that's the build. Let's see how it goes.
Won't get extra bounties this way,
Hopefully I didn't talk myself to death, but you're going to want to hurry, number one. You're going to dash around. Daedalus Hammer right off the bat, not bad. Dash upper, not great. I don't use dash uppers. I use dash attacks. This is the most annoying part of that no choice thing is that you don't get to choose your Daedalus stuff, and you kind of depend on it a lot. So that's the cutter right there. If you ever have a chance to go to chaos and it's not going to ruin you too bad, like I said, do it. It shouldn't take you that long to get through because time stops when you're choosing boons, but also you can only choose one thing. Special goes up, that's great. Dash has negative range, that's fine. I can deal with that. I don't mind choosing, obviously the rewards early on are pretty lame. Okay, this is one of the buffs that you do have to watch out for. It creates fake guys all around. Just find the real guys. The fake guys are just kind of faded out. So you want to destroy the real guys first to get rid of everybody else. And you can see me dashing around. Again, that Daedalus Hammer I got affected my dash upper, which, okay, between the two, I'm going to go with Demeter. There is a great build that comes about with Poseidon, but it's hard with the fist because it pushes them away. It's really useful in the last world where you can push people into barriers and slam them, get extra damage on that. It's not so great everywhere else where you're going to have to chase them around after you hit them. So oh, great special buff, not bad. That's not bad. I wouldn't switch for that. I forget what it's called. It's not a. I've also upgraded done all the extra builds. Again, everything's upgraded, so I get an extra level up when I get these. What the heck are they called? Nectars, I believe. So that's why I don't mind getting those nectars, is because they give me an extra level up and an extra bonus with them. I don't do the gem stuff anymore. That's not all that useful. Okay, palms. Oh, okay. If you get one of these, definitely check it out. Again, time will freeze, but more often than not, you're going to want to buy some health, which I cannot afford, so we will not at this point. If you get a palm, switch it. Again, your whatever that's called. It's not the companion. It's your little icon that you carry with you. Is going to do all the palms that you need, hopefully. So. Honestly, this isn't a great start, so. You kind of know, especially by Elysium, you're going to know if you have any chance in the world of doing this, because the extreme measures that happened around that boss. Hearts are good. You want to get a bunch of those, because Minotaur hearts, I think they're called. You need health. Like I said, you're going to need a bunch of health. Don't forget that any shielded enemies can't be staggered. So once they can be staggered, you're usually okay, because again, you're going nuts with the haymakers here. Gems are usually what you want to get to first. Dashing is also real good, obviously, because it helps you to avoid damage, especially if you get... Okay, so I can go to a store, but I only have 166 gold, so I will not. I'll wait until I get 300. Okay, this is a boss, so I'm going to throw my bloodstones at him. Again, I just... There's people out there that can multitask. I'm not one of those. So if it's a boss, it's worth it to throw the bloodstones. Otherwise, I kind of just don't. Wow, epic. This is good. A lot of times you'll hit legendary. Again, I'm choosing the... I really shouldn't have taken a couple weeks off. But the purple stuff, I'll choose that because I'll get also health. I think it's like 5 health. That guy is not real. Forget that guy. That's the real guy. I think that's the real guy. Yes. When you hit the real guy, the other guys disappear. That's what's going on there. And also with this, getting people in a group is real great, because that saves time and also builds up your special more, your cutter. I'm not doing a great job at that. Again, this run isn't great. I can see the battery's going to die on my camera, so there's probably going to be a cut here. You can straight up choose healing or darkness. That's the name of the purple stuff, because again, the special I have will give me healing with the darkness, but I'll get more straight up healing from this. And since I am pretty low on the health there, you can see I'm going to choose healing. Don't forget to give Boldy a gift. He'll give you a random power up. And we don't want palms, so I'm going to switch that again. Money's fine, we can do that. We should be pretty close to 300 at this point, so the next store I get, I'm going to take. These ghosts suck. That was a pot, gold pot there. Again, one of the upgrades I have also puts those around, so those you want to keep an eye out for. This chest I'm fighting around right now, I just don't think there's time for them anymore. If you're super hurting for health and doing pretty good on time, but again, even if you think you're doing good on time, you're going to need it later. So it's hard to think it's worth it, especially since you can get health from other areas. Okay, heart would be great. And a chaos gate and 2 boons. Wow, this is rough. Okay, yeah, like I said, chaos gate. The thing that sucks, again, about not having choices is sometimes the negative. Okay, so I can't cast. That's not that bad, and my money will go up. Not bad. I can live with those. And I've got over 300, so I'm choosing the store. Again, boons are what you want. I'll take it. Health, also a priority, and if you got money left over, sure, buy a palm. What could it hurt, right? This is going to be the first boss battle. Extreme measures don't do too much to this, although some will be better than others, obviously.
No time.
My special, or my cast. Oh, I shouldn't cast, that's right. I already forgot, look at that. So, do not cast. This is not my favorite. This looks like Meg. Do not like Meg, because also, what's her face? Throws that spinny thing, which I also dislike a great deal. So, sometimes I will use one of my assists here early, like right now, since you got to make sure she's just not invincible at the time. Looks like I'm probably gonna lose a life here anyways. Unless I'm extremely lucky. Nope, there he goes. So death defied once already. Again, looking really good. Ah, so close too. 2 minutes to spare though. That's good. That'll come in handy later. Time stops right now, by the way, so you should, between getting darkness and this fountain right here, be able to health up every single time. So more often than not, you're just choosing the cheapest one, but also depending on the technique that you're using that I'm talking about here, it might be better to get rid of something that doesn't depend on that technique. After you take damage, your foe is struck by lightning. Again, I love the duo that makes it so that triggers automatically, but you need, I think, 3 different boons for that to happen, so it's kind of rare. So I don't love that one because obviously I don't want to take damage, number one, and also it's more infrequent than the damage I'm dealing, so usually something better is better. Also, it's worth 140, so that's not bad. I like a buffed special, so I'm going to keep that. Festive Fog I'm kind of mixed on, especially since it takes away that Bloodstone buff, so I'm actually going to sell Trippy Shot so I get my Bloodstones back instead of that. Check this. Dang it. So Kiss of Styx is what you want. You always want to replenish your Death Defiances if you can, but I would need to sell another boon to afford this one. So I should probably do it, honestly, but it's early on, so see how it goes. Again, I think we've got time maybe to do 2 runs if I fail the first, so with any luck I'll fail 2 for you during this episode. And if I can even make it through this level, I'm going to pause because that's about when the camera's going to die and I can switch. Asphodel is usually pretty easy to bunch up everybody. Asphodel is also why I cannot choose the one that buffs all the traps. Okay, I'll always take the, I forget what these are called, the Asphodel exclamation points. But I'm going to pause right there, and you won't notice it all. Look at that, so seamless. For Eurydice right here, I almost always go with Ambrosia Delight, but that's usually based on if I've been able to get enough higher level boons so far, which actually I have, so I think I'll go with that. If you haven't been able to get high level boons so far, Refreshing Nectar is probably the way to go, but this will automatically upgrade some of the good ones I have already. And I'm going to get rid of this palm again. Good gosh, lots of palms. Does not always happen, honestly. Obviously, you're going to want to dodge. My dodge is off, like perfectly off right now. If you can get the, in fact, last run I had, I actually thought I was going to win and not lose like I did because I got the boon that makes it so your dash deflects. That is like the best one to have as far as deflect goes, I think, but you can still avoid some damage by dodging through projectiles like that, which I am really bad at right now. There we go, we're on. I mean, having the deflect as your attack too isn't bad, obviously, because you're always attacking, so you can pretty much always be deflecting. Store, I have 296, so I'm going to do that, even though I do like Ares quite a bit. Ares boons, that is. Again, always get the boon. Oh, I actually thought my attack was buffed already. By the health,
Just what I need.
and then by the palm. Sure. Artemis. Artemis can be good if you get the buff that fires an arrow every time you attack. Okay, again, we're at the boss here, so I'm gonna... Oh, dang, my chaos thing is still on, so I probably shouldn't be shooting those. Yeah, Artemis is good if you can get the thing that fires an arrow every time you attack, because again, with the fist, you are attacking an awful lot. But, ooh, he's frozen. Look at that. It's already paying off. That was pretty good. Usually I take a bit of damage at that mini-boss. Dash strike deals more damage. That's the other one that's pretty great to have, because again, you're always dash striking, so that was a lucky pull. We'll see how it goes. It's pretty great if you can get Death to appear. What's his name? Thanatos? Yeah. Because then you get 2 hearts out of it, which is fantastic. Assuming you can beat him, which most of the time you can. Obviously, you want to try and steal kills from him, if at all possible. If you see somebody that's purple, that's who you want to try and kill first, then he won't be able to beat you as bad, although usually there's enough little enemies that show up that he never has a chance at that you can do pretty darn well. But I have lost to him before, so famous last words, which might actually happen because I'm taking a lot of damage right now.
To collect.
I don't, you know, I know there's a lot of, what is this, Hermes? Yes. A lot of talk around Hermes being the secret strong boon guy, but I haven't been able to get a lot of use out of him. 128, not going to the store, going to the heart. Am I already at learning? I am. Okay, well, that was quick. I'm not doing a great job looking for pots. Look for pots. It does add up too as far as the money goes.
How's the old neck holding up?
Hopefully my Chaos Boon has expired because I really want to pump this dude full of Bloodstones. It has. That's great. Again, do a dash hit, dash hit, dash hit. When your cutter gets charged, let it loose. Otherwise, I'm pretty bad. I haven't got a call yet. Otherwise, I would be bad at using my call. So, that's my defense so far. Can't be bad at it if you don't have it. I don't know. I top out at like 2 things. 3 things maybe. Man, my dodge is just so off. Should not be getting hit. Again, I find his extreme measures here to not be too extreme. Obviously, you have to watch out for the lava, but I feel like there's a lot. Could be a lot worse. He's just not a very hard boss, honestly, I say, as I'm almost dying. I can't stay out of the freaking lava! Seriously, why I could not use that one. Is not that good at staying out. Okay, great. Looks good. He's obviously going to just stay on the lava because he's a jerk. That'll do it. If you are not far in this game, you're probably wondering, Lerny? What the heck? But he renames the Bone Hydra Lerny at some point, so. Again, time stops when you beat him. What do I have left? 536. Okay, so I'm actually doing pretty good on time, but not great on
Don't know any other way.
health. So, yeah, this is kind of easy. Obviously going to get rid of Flurry Cast there, so. My health is full now because I'm at the end of the level. Wish that was a Death Defiance that I could buy, but I guess at least I'm saving some money. Again, Elysium, this is where you're going to know how it's going. Hopefully I get the Elysium buff. I don't fish. It's not worth my time anymore, so I just pass those up. If this is not a Daedalus Hammer, just use your right trigger until it is, or whatever it is. I'm playing on Xbox. It will turn into a Daedalus Hammer. Yes, the right trigger does change, but it changes it within a certain frame. So if it's not a place where a Daedalus Hammer will not appear, you're not going to get it. If it is a place where it will appear, like right there, if you change enough times, you will get it. And usually you will have enough. You might have to spend the rest of what you got to get it, but you should have enough to get a Daedalus Hammer out of that door if it doesn't show up. I think if you don't, oh great, I hate these freaking guys. They will just take you for all you're worth, so kind of try and dash through them, especially if you have a dash that does damage somehow. But yeah, I think the idea is the Daedalus Hammer will show up. That's a pretty good one. It's not great. There's a pot full of money that I found. Okay, this is tough. I'm gonna go with the health since I'm so down on it as is. Even just on a normal, oh gosh dang it, these freaking guys again. Even just on a normal game, I feel like 200 to 300 is the goal. Wow, they are getting all their hits in. Okay. But yeah, when it comes to playing with these Pact of Punishment nerfs, whatever you want to call them, it's all the more important. Like 300 is a minimum. Especially if these jerks show up. Obviously, for the most part, you go to the projectile enemies first. Ah, nice. Okay, so even if you're missing one Death Defiance, I take the Kiss of Sticks from Patroclus here. Patroclus? Whatever. From good old Patrick here. Even if it's just one, but in this case I get two. So very, very worth it. And I have 286, close enough. I'm going to go to the store, especially since sometimes in the store you'll find a pot that's worth some money still. And there's not 2 boons anyways, so we're looking good.
Should be something useful.
And that's good. I needed a call, and Demeter's call is, I think, one of the more useful ones. I'm going to go with the heart again. Now, it's just a matter of remembering to use it. I'm going to dash around and hope these guys kill themselves enough that I don't get my butt handed to me. I hope the fidelity of this microphone is good enough that you get all of the button presses. Flirting with disaster. Just die! Great. Alright, these dudes with the shield are very annoying, so you kind of gotta obviously watch out for the projectiles, but get them in the back. This is also another reason the backstab buff is, I think, more useful, because it's those guys you have to hit in the back anyways. So my gosh. Okay, oh that's right, I got my call, so don't forget to use that. Again, very bad at it. One of the synergies that does happen though with the Pact of Punishment that I chose, given the amount of enemies that show, because normally my call will fill up pretty much at the end. So skip the palm, choose the boon, pump this guy, pump this mini boss full of that stuff, and work on him above everybody else. What am I talking about? Great. Well, there goes one Death Defiance. Nice. This actually went fairly well. I remember to use my freaking call. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so your call gets to maximum after clearing out a room pretty much, but I found with more enemies it fills up sooner, so I don't feel so bad about not using my call regularly. I just use it when it maxes out for the most part. After you cast or hit with an attacker special, fire a Seeking Arrow. That's the one I was talking about. So That was a lucky pull. That's great. I'm going to stick with Demeter here. Again, I do like heading in a direction if I can, especially now that I have Demeter's Call. The more Demeter buffs I can pull, the better. Every now and then you'll get the buff or nerf with these guys that when they're killed, they turn into a bunch of guys. I think like 4 of them explode. See, my call just charged up, but I might be done. Nope, not done. Okay, so this is good. Hitting the call. That gets pretty rough if they start cloning themselves, but you just have to kill one of them. The rest will kill themselves. It's that one that's not a bomb that will respawn if you're not careful. So that's probably stuff you know already, but I hate this one because again it takes away my bloodstone buff. So hopefully we get to sell that one. I do have Erebus gates unlocked. I do not use them. It just takes up too much time again. You think you can push it? Great. I've found that time is more necessary than... Also, it's not a given. You need to get anything out of those. You need to complete it without getting hit. So there's a chance that you waste time and don't get what you need out of it. So I found the gamble to not quite be worth it. But your mileage may vary. Again, I'm doing this all in a very specific way. There's probably a different way to do all of this if you learn how to multitask much better than I have. Do you have the... My gosh, I need to get out of there. And I'm going to start triggering some of my calls, quote unquote, early here, since I'm getting my butt handed to me, it seems like. The environmental traps, these arrows flying around. Again, if you've got some sort of deflect going on with your dash, it's more useful to hang around there. Oop, still going to take the store because I got the money and I need the health, or I'm going to lose another Death Defiance. Also, it looks like we are... this isn't bad. This one, After Party, comes in handy on the last level. I'm going to buy Darkness because it's going to give me health. I'm going to buy that, obviously, because the more health, the better. And that puts me pretty close to 300. So this is going to get rough. I'll probably lose something here. And since I don't have my Bloodstones, it's just going to do this, which is super annoying. Here I will call in an assist right away. This is one of those locations where I will always do it. The Minotaur I found goes down a little bit easier. If once his face gets close, like right now, great, I can get 2 birds. But for the most part, I just focus on this guy, getting him out of the way first. With the Pact of Punishment, he's got a very devastating spin attack that he'll fire up sometimes. He does that. Oh, well, that's not even the one I'm talking about. He does that. Just get out of the way. There. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. I got halfway there on him. Okay, that's it right there. Get out of the way. I have my Greater Call available, so I'm going to hit it once he kind of slows down. Right here, right in the middle, because then I'll pull some damage elsewhere as well, hopefully. Otherwise, if he's just doing this thing, it's actually kind of easy to dodge out of his way, back and forth. Also, my freeze stuff is actually helping out quite a bit. But again, you're going to take some damage on this one. This one's usually pretty rough. He does do damage just by running over you, so now I'm on my last. If you think you're good enough at the bull, you can maybe save your assist until you're fighting this dork. I usually need the bull because again, it's double damage. All right, so doing pretty good on my call. I might want to start using it because you want to get rid of this guy as soon as possible. I'm going to start throwing down those. I'm going to use my call ASAP. because you want to get rid of him quick because he's just going to lay it into you. And do all that stuff, which you can, again, work in a rhythm. I think we might actually get him. Was that me or him? It was him! All right. My health cannot be looking good though right now. Yeah, see, that's not great. I'll get back up, but at this point, it's all... I don't really want to get rid of that. Yeah, see, this is a rough one. Again, After Party really helps on the next level because it's multiple rooms. Let's see what's for sale over here. Yeah, see, if it was a Death Defiance, which I don't think I could get enough money to get anyways, so. Gonna sell that. If I can't live through it, doesn't do me a whole lot of good, so. That's the balance, right? You taking the damage buff or you taking the health buff? At some point you gotta figure it out. These, sometimes the coin ones are harder to spot, so I usually just hit them all. They're only one coin one. Sometimes you get like 3 coin ones in that room. I've got a lot of time though. I am looking really good. At this point, do not buy anything over here just yet because a Death Defiance costs 200. So at least have 200 in the bank so you can buy one of those if it pops up. Chances are you're gonna need it. I will go straight to the Palm, change it to something useful, which again, we're going down the Demeter route, so that's pretty useful. And then go to town. Again, this is where a Poseidon build does come in handy because you're slamming guys into barriers. It's super duper useful, but kind of only here, so it doesn't do a whole lot. It does a lot. It doesn't do a whole lot with Hades. So you can do a lot of damage on your way, but then when you get there, it's not as useful, I've found. So, got to use my cutter. These guys suck. You just gotta get behind them. And again, they stagger, so if they start shooting at you, sometimes it does help to go back and forth between them. And this is another spot where that Palm of Power, I think that's what it's called, the thing that you're carrying around in your pocket comes in handy because each of these count as a room. So you start leveling up pretty nicely if you haven't on the other stuff. Again, it's diminishing returns with the palms, but with any luck, you're spreading the love. These guys are maybe the worst enemies in the entire game because they just poison you, so you're having to go to the stupid well to get healed. So I usually focus on these guys first, although the rats are no picnic, as you can tell. If you can backstab, do it. Do not get stuck in a rut where if the rat poisons you, you're like, oh, I can finish him quick. Just go get healed, because you don't get that health back, especially since, honestly, like I said, it's not looking great. I don't know if I'm gonna get any Death Defiance that's gonna help me at this point. I need to use my call is what I need to do. So let's try it. This is where I'll also call in my assists more often than not, but I want to save at least 1 assist for Hades, obviously. If you want a chance using the traps, that's great. If you've got the time, that's fine. I do have a little bit of time, so I am going to do that. But yeah, see, I hate this poison. It's so rough. Just make sure you don't get hit by the traps, even if you don't have that buff. They are devastating, obviously. This is where, yeah, Poseidon comes in handy, but also the bow. Like I would be tearing it up by the bow right now. Okay, using my greater call. Probably should have used that sooner. Because again, these guys do not stagger. Once you get the shield down, then you can just sit there. Like I don't even need a dash really, but I do it because it does more damage and takes up less time. Yeah, there it goes. So one run's probably enough here, I think. So we'll keep the losing streak going. It's a fantastic game. If you haven't been able to tell so far, there's a reason I can't shut up about it. It's because it's been fun all the way to the end. Again, that last statue unlocked, I didn't have to. I completed the achievements, I think, at the first statue, maybe the second, but still, the second was half as many Pact of Punishment points as that last one at 32. So it's just that fun. It's just that good. Go check out Hades if you haven't yet. Breaking news. And check out the Patreon also if you haven't yet. At patreon.com/Ryan_runs_. I don't know if we should talk about this here, but the next episode is going to be a cinematic episode. So if you're looking forward to the next episode of that, which is Dirty Ho, that should be up very soon, possibly this week as well. So thanks for hanging out. As always, goodbye.